Right, so I decided to do a quick video late at night because I can't sleep. And the topic is something about the fandom, Star Wars fandom, and especially with something I saw with Star Wars Theory and kind of a smaller YouTube channel called All New Nerds. And Levi Bond, I guess, is the main guy for that. And he ended up being invited on Star Wars Theory's show last night, which is Nerd Theory, which has turned into this council event where every week, I guess, Star Wars Theory and Josh from Den of Nerds are inviting a bunch of other YouTubers on to talk Star Wars. And it's actually pretty cool. I like it a lot for the most part. But they brought in this Levi, and he kind of made an ass of himself and kind of came at Theory a little bit, which, you know, he had points that he wanted to make, and he claims he talked to Theory tonight. They, you know, this was out last night. Tonight they sat and talked for like 30 minutes, and he kind of tried to explain himself to Theory. And Theory gave him the opportunity to discuss why he came on his show and attacked him. And Levi kind of, I would say, he very defensively tried to explain why he said the things that he said. And really, he backtracked without backtracking a little bit, I guess you could say. And really quick, as I talk about this, I want to say this, that I am not going to bash on this Levi at all, and I'm not going to bash on his channel, because I actually went and looked and watched his last podcast where he has some different guests on, and they talk Star Wars, and I felt that he does a pretty good job with his show. I can't bash on him for the way his show is done. And I saw a much more confident person than the person I saw trying to backtrack against Theory tonight. And the guy, I'll be honest with you, I only watched a few seconds of last night when he came on Theory's show and started kind of bashing on him. I only watched a few seconds because I felt so embarrassed for the kid that I had to turn it off. Because let's be honest, and like I said, I'm not bashing on him, but I will bring up my views on it, which is that he made a very poor decision in how he handled that. Like, there are some Star Wars YouTubers out there that I don't like. I won't watch their shows, and plain and simply because I feel like they're mostly negative. Though that's just not what I get down on. And there's a whole audience out there for people that do where they constantly talk about Kathleen Kennedy. I wish they would fire Kathleen Kennedy myself, but I'm not going to sit there and talk about her all the time. And I don't enjoy Star Wars YouTube channels that's pretty much their main gimmick, is they, like, all of them have this, like, their thumbnail is Kathleen Kennedy with red eyes and she's evil and all this stuff. Not my type of thing. Right, train of thought coming back here, but I don't like that stuff at all, and I would not go on one of their shows. I would not talk to them and try to bash on them on one of their own shows. I would never do that. In fact, I honestly don't have any desire to have a conversation with any of those. If I had an opportunity to, like, even off air, the conversation would be very short. Just like I have certain political views, which I don't talk about on the channel, but I will not get in depth into conversations with people that have extremely opposite political views than me, because I don't enjoy those conversations and they're not productive at all. Just like it would not be productive of me to talk Star Wars with somebody that is one of these people that's all negative and Disney's evil and all that type of stuff. They have their views. I respect that. There's an audience for them. I'm not part of that audience, so I would not have that kind of talk. But But I will say this: I understand in some ways where Levi was coming with saying that Theory has a responsibility to a certain extent when it comes to Star Wars fandom. But at the same time, his responsibility in no ways requires him to be disingenuous to his own views. He needs to be himself. Does that mean that he couldn't in some ways take a look at himself and say, am I being too negative? Maybe I should stop talking about these topics if it's not bringing me joy, if I'm not passionate about them? Because I'm going to say that right now. I love watching Star Wars Theory when he is being positive and when he's talking about things that he enjoys. That does not mean that I feel like he should love the things that he doesn't love. That doesn't mean that he shouldn't, that he should all of a sudden think that Last Jedi was the greatest movie. I just prefer personally not to hear him talk about Last Jedi or the sequel trilogy at all. When he's talking about those things, I tune out. I go watch something else. So I don't enjoy those things. And now this is where I'm going to go into with the Nerd Theory thing, which is one of the reasons why I'm glad that they're doing more people on that show. I'm going to talk about Josh for a second, because I will go to watch Josh for anything Marvel right now. I love it. He's passionate about it. There's a smile on his face. He enjoys it. He doesn't enjoy Star Wars right now. And me personally, I loved Nerd Theory when it first started out. Not as much anymore. Personally, I don't like it as much because Josh just isn't having fun. He's not enjoying talking Star Wars right now. And once again, I support his channel. Love hearing him talk Marvel. Don't enjoy hearing him talking Star Wars right now. So this whole concept of Nerd Theory with Star Wars Theory and Josh, it seems like it's they're talking more. Of the conversation gets into things that are going to be negative because they're things that they don't enjoy. And once again, my feeling is that they have no responsibility whatsoever to enjoy and all of a sudden think that everything in Star Wars is great. No responsibility to do that. But maybe not. I'm probably not the only one of their fans that really would prefer that they just start talking about things that they do enjoy, and maybe, occasionally discussing sequel trilogy and other things that they don't enjoy, but maybe leaving those alone so that they could be a little bit more positive. Not necessarily because I feel like the fandom is necessarily gonna benefit from them being more positive, but because I like both of those guys and I'd rather see them be happy, and they don't seem to be happy talking about certain things with Star Wars, or Josh, Star Wars at all. He doesn't seem to be happy. So now coming back to Levi, the first mistake he made was coming on Theory's show and having the conversations that he had. He obviously accepted the invite to be on the show because it was an opportunity for him. And there's nothing really wrong with that. But if you're going to take that opportunity, you need to respect the platform that you're on and don't be an aggressor. And so he made a mistake there. The second mistake he made is that I felt like his apology tonight, just how much he was running around his own words and trying to say something but then immediately backing off. I don't feel like those were heartfelt, and they didn't need to be heartfelt. His best thing he could have done was to say, I apologize for using that platform the way that I did, but at the same time, I fully endorse the things that I said. I just didn't say them right. I don't think he needed to, and there's nothing wrong with him having those opinions of a fellow YouTuber, especially when he's the lower guy coming at somebody higher. There's nothing wrong with that. Just like it's the exact opposite when the opposite thing happens. Like the Pablo Hidalgo thing, when he attacked Theory, man, I was on Theory's side 100% because Pablo is a position of power, and he used that position of power to belittle somebody that is a fan. And let me also be clear with this: I don't think Theory was belittling Levi. I think that there's a power. The power dynamic between those two. Theory's up here and Levi's down here, so there was an equal conversation, and Theory talked from somebody that had more power, and Levi talked from somebody who seemed like he was shitting his pants. And once again, I'm not bashing on him at all, because I watched one of his latest podcasts or shows or whatever, and he does a fantastic job. But when he's in that element, his power dynamic is equal with the other people he's talking with, and he feels more comfortable. Whereas with Theory, you could tell that he felt intimidated, basically, and not because Theory made him feel intimidated, but because he was intimidated of him. Because, and this is the other thing too, is if Levi was contrite and truly, honestly, was sorry for how he did things, that's one thing, but it kind of almost feels like he did it to basically salvage his channel, because he was afraid that his channel was going to get too much negativity, and he'd lose all his subscribers and lose any momentum that he had. And maybe that's almost what it felt like his conversation with Theory tonight was. And that's kind of the wrong way. Like, if that's the reason why he went on and what was motivating him in that's not going to do very well, as opposed to if he was actually contrite, which maybe he was. He seems like a good kid. I mean, like Theory said, when I was 19 years old, I did a lot of stupid things too, and I learned from them. So now that I'm kind of talking about this, let's talk about the fandom just a little bit, because there are. I went back and I saw some of the comments in All New Nerds, I think that's what it's called, on the latest video and stuff like that. And he didn't get comment bomb. There wasn't a million comments from Theory fans just bashing him or whatever, but there was quite a few on there that basically said that his career was done and all this stuff. It's like, come on, man, we've all made mistakes in our careers. Once again, it's not necessarily going to be a career for this kid. He could go on and do all kinds of other things. He's got a lot of time to be able to do that. But for people, and I understand, if you're a fan of Theories, or if you're a fan of any other media person or celebrity, and I would consider Theories somewhat of a celebrity, you're going to have some people that when they're attacked, they take it personal themselves and they go after the person that attacked, and that's exactly what happened there. But at the same time, this is a 19-year-old kid that made a mistake. You don't need to try to cancel the dude. And this whole cancel culture thing. This isn't some big celebrity that made some off-color joke or something like that. And let's say, I'm not saying that people should get canceled for that, but this isn't even close to that situation. This is a 19-year-old kid with 400 some subscribers that people are trying to cancel. Come on, get over yourselves, man. But so for me, I personally like when people are positive. That's the type of thing I'm going to watch. It's going to turn me off when they're talking about things that they hate. I want to hear people talk about things that they like. I don't like listening to them talk about things that they hate. One of the reasons why I don't watch the news right now, because they never talk about this is the good things that are going to happen. They talk about all the crappy things that happen. No interest in it whatsoever. So for me, within the Star Wars fandom, I have a few channels that I really enjoy. Theory is one of them when he's talking about things that he enjoys. within Marvel. I love watching Den of Nerds. I have few other channels that I watch. But there are a few Star Wars channels out there that do such an incredible job of letting you know their views on things, even when they don't like them, but also allowing the people to have a different opinion to them to have dignity and to still feel good about themselves. And I'm just going to do one shout out right now, and that's Thor Skywalker, because I disagree with a lot of things that he says, especially when it comes to the sequel trilogy, which I have a lot of problems with the sequel trilogy, but I don't think it's the worst thing ever. But I have some disagreements with some of the things that Thor Skywalker says, but he always makes me feel after the video, if it's something I disagree with, like he's not saying that I'm a shitty person for having a different opinion than them. And I think that that's the key thing in all of this, is that all of us Star Wars fans should be able to feel good about being Star Wars fans, no matter what the era is that we like, no matter what the characters are that we like. We should all still be able to feel good about it. There shouldn't be gatekeeping that, hey, if you think Kathleen Kennedy did a good job, you're not a real Star Wars fan. That type of thing, that stuff needs to go out the window. So there is some of that negativity. But do I think that Theory is responsible for that negativity? No, I don't think he is. Do I think that Josh from Den of Nerds is responsible for that negativity? No. At the same time, do I not enjoy watching them when they're talking about things and they're being negative for long stretches? I turn those things off, and that's just me. And I'm just speaking for the type of thing that I enjoy. And I'm not speaking for other people out there that to me, I mean, there's literally a huge section of Star Wars channels that all they do is it's negative headline after negative headline after negative headline. And they all have buku subscribers and a lot of views. There is an audience for those people, and God bless those creators for creating that and being able to have an audience. Just not for me. I don't know if any of this made any sense. I'm tired. I should have gone to sleep a couple hours ago, but here I am awake talking some Star Wars type stuff. Anyways, everybody have a wonderful evening, and may the Force be with you.